I'm Andrea.
And I'm Krista.
And we're Soulful in Soil. Today we're going to talk all about weed control.
All right, weed control. No-till square foot gardening is awesome for actually weed control. If you missed our last post about
building
yes
square foot no-till garden,
that explains all about sequestering carbon and why you have less energy and less watering required, and it all has to do with helping with your weed control, which is 100% the way you mulch and the way you tarp. Weed control tip number 1.
So tip number 1 is tarping your garden. Tarps are a great way to start getting some weed control before you even start to think about planting a garden. If you're planting a garden in a very brand new space, you can tarp as early as the fall before you plant. You choose your place, use a UV silage tarp. You can purchase these, or you can find them free from a local dairy farmer if you have some local dairy farmers in your area. And what you do is you just decide on the space, lay it down, black side up, which we noticed we made a mistake back here, so do as we say and not as we do.
We will fix that.
And you're ready to go. So if it's a new place that you're putting, you can put it down as early as the fall. If it is your second year or more gardening in that space, you will want to put it on your garden as soon as you can get out and into the land. So you can do it as early as February or March. You definitely want to aim to have your tarp on for at least 2 weeks before you're going to plant, to really let it kill off the weeds and warm up the ground before you're ready to start thinking about planting your garden.
Yeah, and we have a post about this.
Yes.
So we'll link that below. So if you want to know all about tarping and why to tarp and where even to get the silage tarp, I think we've linked that in there too. Check out the link below.
This is weed control tip number 2.
So we're sitting in the van with our grass because it's so windy and we wanted you to be able to hear us. We're going to go and place this grass on our 4x6 no-till square foot garden, and we're going to place it as high as 6 to 8 inches. The thicker, the better. It will help suppress the weeds that are there already on the top of the soil, but also because it's so thick, no seeds within the grass, if there are any, can go down and then become a problem for us later. So what we're doing is we're going to go and pull out any of the tiny little weeds that might have grown since we planted the garden a week and a half ago, I think. And then we're going to throw this on. So come along for us on that one. Okay, so you've got your first layer on. At least do one more layer of 6 to 8 inches of grass. Oh, you could also use straw, I forgot to mention that before, and or mulched leaves, but grass and straw are usually more available at this time of the year. Do it again mid-season. So you're going to want to do it July, August. You'll notice that your grass has gotten really, really, really small and you're getting more weeds. So just add another layer. This doesn't mean you won't have any weeds, but it'll mean you have a far less, and then it'll also mean that they're really easy to pull out. Weed control tip number 3.
This tip is for the fall when you have access to mulch leaves, if you have access to mulch leaves. So once you have cleaned out your gardens, a really great thing to do is to top them off with a layer of your mulched leaves. It's a great way to add another layer of humus, and it also is really great to avoid any new weed seeds in the fall falling into your garden and then creating a weed problem in the spring.
Okay, so what if you didn't do a no-till square garden this year, or no-till garden at all? The alternative method for weed control would be landscape fabric. It can be a costly up front, but then once you've got it, you're kind of good to go. You just buy the fabric, you buy the landscape pins, and they're linked in our blog post that accompanies this video, that you can just lay it out, you cut in your holes, and then you only have to weed around the plant. So that's an alternative method if you don't want to do no-till gardening. Those are your weed control tips. Building a no-till garden, adding compost at the top, tarping it with that compost, your mulch with your grass, and then adding your layer of leaves in the fall. Alternatively, if you don't do no-till, add your landscape fabric and weed control will be so much better.
Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you check back for more tips and tricks as our gardening season goes on. Make sure you click subscribe and click the bell so that you're notified of any new videos as we post more and more this gardening season. We're Soulful in Soil, where we show you how to grow your own food from seed to table and nourish your life.